Okay, so we're going to make this name ornament right here. Um, we've chosen a font that's pretty close to this. It's not exactly the same. But for this one, I chose, I'm not even going to pronounce this, Shine Regular, I believe is what it's called. So that's going to be our font for the name we've got. In this case, I'm going to make a copy of this name, which you can do by either selecting Control C and then Control V, which makes a copy, or you can also highlight it. You see the square around it means it's highlighted. Hold down your Alt key, use your mouse to click on it, then drag them away from each other and drop before you let go of the Alt key. So that creates a copy as well. So it's just another shortcut. So what we're going to do with this is, inside of this, we're going to change the name to the, Rex Rods. Rex Rods. Okay, so then there's the name. So what we have here is the name of the family, and it is still a text. What's important here is that we cannot actually work with, cut, engrave, score a text. We must change it to an object, to a compound path. So what we're going to do here with it selected, we're going to right click and hit create outlines. So then what you notice is you can no longer tell what text it is. It's no longer a text. It is a path. It's a compound path. So what that also means is you can't edit this text again. I generally have a copy of the original in text format so that if I want to change this name later to a different family name or whatever the case is, a different customization, I can go back and use this and recreate the outlines. So I usually keep this right off of the artboard. Anything outside of the artboard is not going to show in your app. So that's that trick. The other thing to note here is that these lines, I'm going to zoom in, are pretty thin, right? So we're not going to want to cut those so thin because they'll probably fall apart. So to make that work, I'm going to highlight it. I'm going to object, path, offset path, and I'm going to choose a different number. A preview is set so I can see the effect. I think I'll go with 0.05 and OK. So now you see that these smaller ones are a lot thicker. These smaller lines are a lot thicker. While this is highlighted, I'm going to grab it and pull it down. Yeah, maybe I don't want to go that. Maybe I'll go a little less thick. So I'm going to undo that. Object, path, offset path. So instead of 0.5, maybe I'll go with 0.3. Pull those down. Oops. Gotta be fast about it. Okay, I'm going to undo that so I can be faster. Because what I don't want to have to do is pull them out individually, pull the letters out individually. So I'm just going to undo and then offset the path again. 0.3, if I do this in order fast enough, I can pull them apart. I'm not getting it. If I ungroup them, because the original is underneath as well, as you can see, I've got the individual letters, and that's why that's a pain. So again, I'm going to undo them both. Yep, undo that. So it's just back to the original with no offset. While I'm at it, I'm just going to go ahead and unite this path because you see these overlaps. I can do this before or after I do this offset, but since I'm here looking at it, I'll go ahead and get rid of these overlaps because those will show, or the laser will cut through those lines. So we're going to go to the Pathfinder, which if you don't have your Pathfinder showing, you go to Windows and then click on Pathfinder. Right. Um, I have mine docked over here. So these are the paths you're going to use most often. I'm going to choose Unite, which makes those lines go away. They just blend together. And then I'm hiding my tool. Then Object Path, Offset Path. I'm going to go with the 0.03. I'm having trouble dragging them apart today. So here, I'll just do it this way. Okay. So that's the offset here. This is the original set up here. I'm just going to use this one. So these are paths. I'm going to attach these to each other so that they're not kind of floating. The E and the R will kind of touch each other. So that will hold all this section together. So by that, I'm just going to take this, highlight them together. Once I've moved it, go back to my Pathfinder, and then unite them. So now they don't come apart. That means when they cut, the laser is going to cut around these letters instead of through them. So now I have the V and the Roxfords. I'm going to put those together so that the R and the T are kind of touching. So that means that they're going to be attached right there. Highlight the two of those and then unite them. So then again, they're not coming apart. So now I have one name. They're attached to each other here, and they're not going to fall apart. Okay, so there is the name portion of the ornament. The next thing you see is there's two layers of this ornament. There's the wood layer, which is cut out with an engrave on it. And then there's the layer here that we were just talking about with the name. So what we're going to do here to get that effect is we're going to go to our ellipse tool, and we're going to make an ellipse. There's an ellipse. This came with a fill. So you see it's black, and this is the fill. And the stroke is empty. There's no stroke. Because we're cutting this, what we're actually going to do is we're going to give it a stroke line. So I give it red for my stroke cuts, my cut strokes, I should say. And then get rid of the fill, so no fill. So what you have is just the cut. So the laser will read this and allow you to choose cut. So there's that. I'm going to make a copy of this circle. Alt and just drag it away. So now I have two of the same circle. And actually I'm going to make three of the same circle. So what that is for is you've got the wooden circle, the cut that's going to have the engrave, and then you've got two circles that kind of make up this thickness here that are going to be cut. So one of them is going to be smaller and inset for the other. But first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of these circles and I'm going to embed this name into it. I'm just going to resize it so that it fits how I want, where I want, and I want it to touch the sides of this ornament or touch something so that it doesn't fall apart once you connect it. Like this one has this stroke connected and these two strokes here, or these three strokes here. You just want to give it something to hold on to. And you can, however you want to do that, if you want to make it bigger this way, if you want to make it, more this way, if you want to turn it sideways, it's entirely up to you how you want to connect them. So I'm going to connect them from the top and the sides just for some stability. So I'm going to make my S connect, my R connect, at least at this point, and let's go with a little bit more connection. So my R can connect on 2 points. My S will connect here, maybe slightly more, on 2 points. And then my T will connect a bit as well. So you see it kind of overlaps. I'll zoom in. So you can see you have some overlapping lines. And how I commit to this, I'm once again going to highlight this, go to my Pathfinder, and I'm going to minus back. So there we have, all of this is one cut. So now as you can see, there are no cut lines in between. None of these letters are going to disappear. I'm going to cut off when you go through the laser, and this is going to be one big cut here. Okay. If you see lines in strange places that indicate that the laser is going to cut it off, you'll probably want to delete those, or maybe something's not connected, you'll want to try again. So I'm going to zoom out. So I see I have this circle. I'm going to take my other big circle and slide this one inside of it so they fit perfectly. Then I'm going to resize the smaller one in a bit so that I have a little offset here. I'm going to select these two, and kind of center them. And so you can use these alignment tools if you want to, if you have two objects and you want to center them within themselves, within each other. So I selected both of them, and I can choose the different centers, horizontal align, and then there's a vertical align center. So that just makes sure they're kind of centered together. And then I'm going to group the two of them, highlight them both, and then you can go down here to your tool and group. You can also right click and group. So now they're together. They won't come apart. This is going to be our cut circle for the backing. We're going to take a text here, drop it in here, type in 2021, escape, and I'm just going to make it bigger so you can see it. So again, this is a text. If it's engraved, it doesn't, you have more flexibility with engraved. It doesn't have to be a specific width or anything. It's not going to fall apart. So this is fine. This is not a particularly ornate font, so just choose what you like to choose. And then we're going to, again, remember to create outlines to convert our text from a text into an object or a compound path. So we're going to right click, create font, create outlines, and now that is no longer, as you can see, by the fact that there is no font name here, it's no longer a font. So then I'm going to align these two by highlighting them both, and I'm going to vertically align, center these. Probably could have done that better. Okay, so I'm going to center that. I'm going to move it up just a little bit. Okay, so that should be centered. And I'm going to group these two because I don't want them to come apart again. This is filled. The 2021 is filled. So I'm going to ungroup so you can see that part. The 2021 does have a fill with no stroke, which is what indicates that it's going to be an engrave. I often use blue for my engraves, but your color choice may vary. And I often use red for my cuts and orange for my scores. So, and I designate those in my files. So now you have an engrave and a cut. And I'm going to go back and regroup these. So I have the back layer and the top layer. If I put this on to here, what you'll see is this is the way it will line up. Okay. So I'm going to separate them back again because they don't need to be together. Okay, so what you have here is your back layer with an engrave, a cut with an engrave, and your front layer. You're going to print those as two separate cuts if you're using two separate materials. You can use for this wood, and then the white can be painted wood, which means you could cut these at the same time, or you could use wood for the backing and acrylic for the top, so that you cut them out of two different materials and you wouldn't have to paint the name. And that's it.